Today, I'm reacting to your most inspiring gaming setups. Let's get into the first one. The first setup of the day is by Frank. He is 13. He obviously goes to school as his occupation. His main video game is Valorant, and his previous setup had his mom's laptop, which was kind of interesting. What inspired him to build his setup is playing games and watching setups on YouTube, and he afforded his setup by also babysitting some friends, kids, and stuff like that. And he also uses this setup for gaming and occasional schoolwork. He wants to stack his monitors on top and add a new chair as his upgrades too. What I love about this setup is like the aesthetic he's got for a 13-year-old. I mean, a 13-year-old kid has this insane of a setup. I mean, it's super clean. I love the aesthetic with the plants, the lighting, keyboard and mouse, the way that like all of this lines up. But the cable management is pretty good. On top of that, I love that, you know, even his PC cases and stuff like that managed to still match. Also, he has a shelf on top with some plants, which is really nice as well. It adds a really nice aesthetic to the setup. I also love this lamp. If you guys don't know, this is like a mini version of that lamp up there. But yeah, love this. I think that this aesthetic is beautiful. I love how you built the plants around the PC to hide the cable management as well. Overall to 10, personally, I would give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. Great setup. All right, we're gonna move on. Okay, perfect. On his 12th birthday, he decided that he wanted to build a gaming PC and a sick setup. I initially put the $500 into my setup to get a couple different things like a monitor, keyboard, and mouse, and some cable management items along with it. As well as I put $1,000 into a PC build as well. I decided to do a full revamp of my setup. In the future, he wants to take a few jobs in the summer, so he could basically get a few desks and stuff like that, re-cable manage and everything. So looks pretty good. Right off the rip, I love the cable management and the way this is set up. Ultra clean. Cable management is tidied underneath the desk. I love the raceway down from the wall and hidden on the sides. On top of that, he's got an Xbox plugged in that he ran the cables down below. But this is beautiful. Off the rip, I love the minimalism in the setup. I think you did a wonderful job of how you placed everything with the space you're given. I mean, to be fair, you fit everything in this really crammed corner, which is great. I feel like with the space he had, because I assume there's like a bed frame here in this corner, so I'm assuming this is like crammed against the window. For the room he has in the workspace he did it in, I think this is really solid. It's very minimal. He did a great job with hiding the cables, and I love the minimalism. I love the window here too. Looks so sick. I love the natural light in the wood. I love how you built the desk. I love the spacing you have in it. I would say this is a solid 6.5 for sure. Gavin, thank you for submitting. All right, this one is by GoneCast. I hope I said his name right. He is age 14. His favorite game is Valorant, and I started off with a laptop setup, and I mainly played Roblox on it. Then I eventually started to watch setup tours videos on YouTube, and that really inspired me to get my ultimate setup. That's awesome. In that case, I decided to get a PC and get good grades in school, and I studied a lot. It turned out to be worth it because eventually I got a PC for Christmas. That's awesome. Ryzen 5 5600G with the 3060 Ti and 32 gigs of RAM with the liquid cooler. And I started to spend all my savings on the setups, or the setup that I like, with 2 monitors, a mouse, keyboard, and all that stuff. But my setup is not complete, and I'm saving for a monitor overhead. All right, perfect. So this guy is 14. Favorite game is Valorant, I can tell. You need to activate your windows. Chat, how do you guys need to activate your windows? This is his PC he talked about. Beautiful aesthetic, by the way. Keyboard and mouse, love it. Desk is beautiful as well. I really like this room. I think with his bed right here and how he positioned this room, I think he did a great job. I also really like your mic placement. I don't think people always get this wrong in a lot of setups I see. I think this is a really, really good job. Like the way he positioned this and the way that he's set up here is great. I love that he's rocking a wood desk with a purple and black theme. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is probably a 7.5. Everything in this setup is beautiful, from the cable management, from the setup angle, and the way that he has this angled and like how he plays is great. How to submit their setup. We do have a YouTube video on how to submit, what pictures to take, how to do it. It's all there on YouTube. Just look up how to submit your gaming setup on my channel, or just how to submit your gaming setup, GutzyAiden, and you should be able to find it. The next up is Harry's setup, and I think you guys are gonna like this setup. This is really nice looking. Harry is age 15. He's a ski instructor from New Zealand, and his main game is Splitgate. What was your previous setup like? He had a bad desk and it was crammed. He built his first setup with a school laptop and some cheap gear. We asked him what inspired to build his current setup, and he said a rustic theme throughout my house, and my house has a lot of barn vibes, so I thought I would replicate the same. He started building his setup 3 years ago. His new plan plans for the future are some new monitors and a clean PC. Right off the rip, we got this rustic looking beach vibe that he's got going on. I love the surfboard and the different stuff like that. It's just so mature for his age. I mean, 15 years old, chat. Like, this is so clean. I mean, look at that. That's it at night. That's like his like view. This is great, dude. This is awesome. Beautiful. I just love the aesthetic, man. From the like darker wall and then the darker wood, like the lighter gray wall with the darker wood. The way you organize the shelving unit above your setup to the little aesthetic with the lamp here. Like, it just all fits so well together. If I wanted to rate it 1 out of 10, I would say a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much, Harry, for submitting. We're gonna move on to the next setup here. Hunter is up next. He's 16 years old. I plan to upgrade my monitor / PC in the future. Before, I didn't really have a setup and we moved into my new house, so I had all the pieces just to put it all together. My favorite color is blue, and that's why my entire setup is blue. So let's go ahead and take a look and go through Hunter's setup. So right off the bat, I love this custom desk he built. It's a little bit different, but I think this is beautiful. I think it's dope that you built your own setup and your own desk. I think it's awesome. I love the cutouts for where you sit. I wish my desk had that, you know, where I could sit a little bit closer, which I really like. I think that's dope. On top of that, we've got some cable management stuff down through the side of the desk here. It looks like he cut holes with grommets on them. Let me see if I can look at another picture. Yeah, like there's like a little hole behind this monitor that runs all the cables down to the PC, which is dope. And then he also has the extra ones that are plugged in here. He has them run across the top of the desk, which is dope. And then also something I wanted to point out, there's a little stream deck right here hidden in the corner of this desk, which I think is interesting, but it's kind of cool that he had it there. Nonetheless, you can't see it because of my camera, but great setup. I would say this is a 6.5, and we're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, he is 13 years old. He's located in Florida, and his main games are Modern Warfare and Warzone. His old setup was very unaesthetic and cluttered, and what inspired him to build his current setup is me, and he loved my videos as well. He basically built his setup for schoolwork, consecration, and maybe some future trading / e-commerce. When did he build this setup? Was in May 2021, and it took him about 3 years to build this setup. He afforded the setup by getting a side job at a grocery store and built up money from Christmas and side hustles. His future plans are to get a third monitor, a little bit of a bigger desk, and some future PC upgrades. And these are all important to him. All right. So right off the rip, we're noticing a setup by a 13-year-old that is beautiful. So I love the wallpapers off the rip. I just love the aesthetic. Also, thank you for supporting my mouse pads too. Appreciate you. Okay, cable management is beautiful as well. PC is really nice cable management. This is beautiful, man. I absolutely love this. So off the rip, we've got a 2-monitor setup, keyboard, mouse, you know, all the usual stuff you got in a setup, but the aesthetic for a 13-year-old kid is awesome. And also knowing that you want to maybe do some e-commerce in the future is crazy for a 13-year-old to say. I didn't know shit at 13, bro. I was just playing Minecraft on my Xbox 360, bro. What did you guys want from me? I'm gonna finish off my last statement with this setup, and it is a beautiful setup. Thank you so much for submitting, Trezza. You are a goat. I hope that you get a couple things and change your setup. And yeah, if you enjoyed that video, watch this one next, and don't forget to follow the Twitch down below. See you there.